Perfect. Okay, so all right. So welcome to this wonderful, wonderful workshop. And first of all, I should say thank you for joining, taking time and joining this workshop. And I should really appreciate everyone over here taking time and showing interest in this kind of workshop. And welcome to Naresh IT. Yes. I hope everyone are doing well. Okay, so without any further delay, let me quickly introduce myself. I think most of the people, I don't know whether you know me already. Okay, can you confirm? Am I audible? And can you hear me well? Loud and clear? Super. All right. So I can see all your messages in the chat quickly. So how many of you know already? Reyaz sir? Yeah. Oh, there's so many people. Yeah, that's good to hear, right? So those who don't know me, right, I'll just quickly talk about myself for a couple of minutes, all right? All right, so that is the trainer profile, that meaning myself here. The speaker name is Reyaz Sheikh, that meaning myself, people call me Reyaz. I have 18 plus years of experience. And I companies worked for was Infosys. I worked for Infosys, Apple, and now a company called Napa. That's a Finnish company, Finland-based company. I was in Europe for a few years, and I again came back to India. And my expertise is mostly on this AWS and DevOps, right? So my expertise on AWS DevOps, that is the core area. Of course, in this 18 plus years of experience, I was complete into IT infrastructure. So people call me as, my designations are so many in these years, like a technology analyst, senior cloud engineer, senior cloud architect, at the moment AWS consultant, and also I'm a director for a startup company. So I own my own company at the moment, so that's a startup. Also, I have been as an infrastructure specialist and consulting. I'm working as a AWS consultant for a few companies. And everyone have this question like, sir, are you certified? Of course, yes, I'm AWS certified. I'm solution architect certified, developer, SysOp, and architect professional level certified as well. So that's a quick intro about me, as this is only a couple of hours workshop. So I should not waste time introducing myself a lot. I think most of the people know me. So if you don't know me, so you just kindly go to Google and just type AWS by Reyaz. You will get to know more about me. People talk about me a lot. All right, so let's begin the show. And I should really appreciate everyone over here again taking time and joining these workshops. Let's nail the show. And for first prerequisites here is, as this is the AWS with the DevOps project, I think people should know a little bit about AWS already here to continue. And also, no need to go deeper onto the DevOps at the moment, but at least you should know about what is AWS and what we'll be doing over there. So I think most of the people here know already about the AWS, but I just want to give a quick intro about what is AWS, what is this cloud, and what was there before the cloud. So are you interested to know what is before cloud? Online, everyone? Yes, I can see your chat messages, wonderful messages. Good. So what was there before cloud? I'll just go and give a very brief about it. I'll not be going deeper into this because as this is a workshop, let's concentrate more on the project. So before that, I'll just give a quick intro about this. So what was there before cloud? I think most of the people knows already data centers, right? So what is a data centers? what does the data center contain? It contains a lot of servers, groups, lot of servers, networks, storages, right? And then there are so many things will be there in the data centers. As you can see in the picture over here, the girl is there posing in the data center, right? Pretending that she's working over there. But yes, do you see so many cables out there, so many servers inside it, and a lot of AC consumption, power, etc., etc., etc. And I just wanted to ask you that handling the data center is easy. What is your answer? Yes or no? Quickly. All right, so that's really a fantastic answer. 100% no. Okay, I would give a very good example that, let's say, for example, everyone have their dreams, like you need to have a dream house, correct? Okay, so you have a very good dream that you need to have a dream house, like a villa or a very big apartment. Will you construct it by yourself? No way. That is not our job. That's very difficult for us to handle. That is very difficult to manage it, correct? Similarly, here also we have the data center. There are so many people though who manage the data center. That's good. That's well and good. That was in the old days. Now, existing companies, everyone, of course, every company will be using their own data centers, but handling the data centers is definitely not easy work. Why? I have listed here few common problems with data centers. Like, obviously you will get very, very commonly power failures. Imagine that you are a data center guy. You are the whole owner or responsible for the data center. And you are in the data center working, and you know how much cool the data center will be? Because there are so many servers and networks out there that it's running continuously, right? It will get heated up. So to cool down those heated up servers, we need to have a air condition. I'm just giving one example there, right? So obviously, all of a sudden, hardware will crash, and all of a sudden, the power fails, and you have a cooling issues, you have a network problems, you have a hardware failures, and all of a sudden, you get some security threats because you might not be having a very good security design in your data center. And obviously, all of a sudden, if hard disk crash, data is lost. And of course, you can say that you have a backups, but that's also bloody a physical machine. It's very common that the backup of the storage might also get crashed. And someone did something on the data, and the data will get corrupted. And all of a sudden you get a project, and your customer says that you need so many servers. So you need to do the capacity planning very early. And also, if all of a sudden, if a customer says that you need a very big machine, is it possible to do the scalability just like that? No. So what is the meaning of scalability here? Scalability plays scalability and elasticity and high availability. I would say these are 3 T's which are very, very important in the cloud. Elasticity, scalability, and high availability, right? These are very, very important. So maybe this is not the right time to talk about all these things. Maybe maybe in later when you join my courses, if you are interested, then we'll be talking about very detailed about all these 3 T's. Quickly, if you ask me about what is elasticity, all of a sudden, if you want 100 machines, you should be able to scale out just like that. And all of a sudden, you are using, let's say, 8 GB RAM machine. And all of a sudden, you need to just increase it to 32 GB or hundreds of GB RAM. You are increasing on the existing machine, and that is called scalability. We call it a scale up and down based on our requirements. Similarly, you have high availability. In a very nutshell, high availability is a very, very superb and wonderful, important topic. But you should know for now at least, right, high availability. High availability meaning, let's say you have only one server running. Just in case if that server goes down, your application will work for your customers? No. Right? Definitely no. For that reason, you need to maintain the high availability. That meaning if just in case if your one server goes down, other server will pick it up your application. So that was a quick nutshell, in nutshell, what is high availability. But I can just talk about this 3 T's or different type of T's like reliability, scalability, all these things in entire whole day. But this is not the right time to talk about all these things because we need to focus on the agenda, right? So again, you have a disaster recovery problems here in data center. Disaster recovery meaning what? Just in case if your place, God forbid, and nothing should happen, but just in case natural disaster happen, all your entire data center will get collapsed. What about the data? What about your customer? Customer need your operations to be running all the time, and immediately the operations should come back, right? So you have this business continuity challenges, maintenance and operation issues, compliance and regulatory challenges. These are the very, very, very common problems that we are facing with the data centers. For that reason, as the companies could not able to handle all these problems by themselves, they don't want to handle the data centers anymore. They don't want to maintain the data centers anymore. And there is a guy who came into the market and said, hey, everyone out there who has the problems with handling the data centers, don't worry, I came and I will be handling the data centers behalf of you. And who is that? Our boss, our wonderful provider, who is the number one in the market. And he's the top most cloud provider in the entire world. And his name is AWS. And people call as Amazon Web Services. Okay, so now we have the AWS came into picture where AWS will be handling the data centers behalf of us. But what is this cloud? What is the relation between this AWS and cloud? So I would say in a very nice and simple definition, cloud meaning the cloud is a network of remote servers that stores and manage data, run applications, and deliver content, all the services over the internet. Example, let's say in this data center, you might be having the applications, you might be having the data inside it, you might be having network, you might be having so many things in order to run your business. If you are not handling these data centers anymore, who will be handling it? AWS. AWS like providers will be handling the data centers behalf of you. And also all your network, all your applications, all your data, everything should be handled by the AWS also or not? Yes, for that reason, in the cloud. So AWS is providing the data centers. I would say very simply in layman language, that data centers which is providing by AWS to us, that is called cloud. You might know that in AWS, we have something called regions, where AWS data centers are located. At least you should know as you are in India. In India, we have 2 places where AWS has its own data centers. What are those 2 places, or what are the 2 regions? One is Mumbai and another one is our own Hyderabad. Because I'm staying here in Hyderabad at the moment. So AWS has this data centers in Mumbai and Hyderabad, and not only in these 2 places, almost more than 33 plus regions are available across the world. Across the world. It's huge, right? So not only the Indians, anywhere if you go to the world, every citizen, every country, every person can access their data centers, which is handled in their own sweet location. And that remote location for us would be the cloud. As we are in India at the moment, so I would say Mumbai region, where AWS is handling the data center, is a cloud for us. And now you can relate what I'm saying, that cloud is a network of remote servers. Where are the servers now? Are the servers is in our data center? No. Where are the servers? Servers are in the remote location. Where is that remote location? In Mumbai and Hyderabad. What is there in that remote location? Data centers. Who is handling the data centers? AWS. What does the data center contain inside it? Your infrastructure. What does the infrastructure contain? All your servers, network, databases, data, store, etc., whatever is needed for to continue the business, everything will be there inside the infrastructure. And now you are connecting remotely to that remote servers through over the internet. And that is called cloud. So cloud is a very buzzword, you know, right? How much important this cloud is in the coming few years, not few years, in a decade. Everything is cloud. We'll talk about why you should be learning this cloud, why AWS and all. Because as so many people might be new here today, I just want to give you a quick overview of what is the importance of this cloud and AWS. Okay, now I have introduced you what is I have introduced you what is AWS, meaning how AWS came into picture. Now let me tell you what AWS will provide for us. AWS will provide whatever is required for our business to run. Generally, what we need to run our business on the infrastructure part, yes, we need infrastructure. We need a lot of servers. We need a lot of softwares. We need a lot of our own network, right? Everything, the power, databases, content, services, everything will be provided by the AWS for us, right? And this AWS is such a vast customer it has. The customers of AWS are located across the world, around 245 countries. The highest volume of AWS customers are in North America, Europe, Middle East, Africa, and outside also, a lot. And AWS is the world's most widely adopted cloud platform. And this AWS is offering 200 plus services at the moment, and it is accounting for 41.5% of public cloud market. So in the entire market, AWS has captured everything in the market here. And every year, 31% growth rate on their customers, which is highest among the global cloud providers. Why I am saying this? Why I'm talking about this AWS, figures? Because everyone in the world are using AWS. If you don't know what is AWS, if you don't know what is cloud, and it's the right time to learn about AWS and cloud, because AWS, and that too, this cloud is not only for one person or not only for one technology. Cloud is required for the developers. Cloud is required for the infrastructures. Cloud is required for now learning, for everyone, for data science, for everyone they need cloud. For every technology that you talk about, there should be plus cloud, because they need to have infrastructure to run. If you are not handling the data centers by yourself, where do you run this infrastructure? That's the reason why here cloud and AWS came into picture. So cloud, don't think that this is not my cup of tea. If you think that cloud is not your cup of tea, you are doing a mistake. Because irrespective of your technology, as per my knowledge, irrespective of your technology, cloud is must. All right. Now, and that's AWS. And why you need to choose AWS? AWS has 1.45 million business users at the moment. And as I said, it's widely used by everyone, right? And you know, most of the big companies like Netflix, LinkedIn, ISO, NASA, Instagram, whatnot. So there are so many big companies, they are using AWS in the backend. And it has more and more job opportunities. It's not me telling you, just go to Google and just type what is the demand for AWS for next few years. You will be getting know by yourself, right? And you have a very good competition also in this cloud area, right? Everyone are learning cloud. Everyone are learning cloud. But you should be very competitive in these kind of people, correct? Why? How you will be more competitive, right? So across these professionals, you have to learn this cloud from the right trainer and then you should do the certifications so that you will be the most demand person in the companies. And you will have a lot of opportunities also in the companies. And I have put few wide range of roles that the companies are providing. So what are these roles? For example, you will be hired as a cloud architect. You will be hired as a cloud engineers. You will be hired as a cloud DevOps engineer, cloud developers, security specialist, data engineer, and analyst, and a lot more. For me, it's not sufficient to have a space here to list all the roles. And roles is very subjective to the companies. Okay? Super. And the last slide about why we need to learn AWS is, and do you know, right, these nowadays, the revolutionary technologies such as AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, they're all driving all these industries towards the cloud. So don't think that AI will be replacing everything. AI will be replacing the process, but you need the human beings to do all the work, right? So where do you do all the work? In the cloud. So if you are using AI, machine learning, everything, you need to have infrastructure to work. So it is not replacing everything. It's replacing the process, right? So majority of these IT professionals believe that these technologies will play a very, very important role in this cloud computing in coming future. According to this Indeed report, 60% of the cloud computing jobs posting require AWS knowledge. Every company is asking for the AWS knowledge, right? As I'm saying, just please keep this in mind that irrespective of your technology, a Java guy should know AWS. A .NET guy should know AWS. A data science guy should know AWS. A DevOps guy should know AWS. Irrespective of your technology, you must and learn one AWS. Okay? And AWS has a commission report where it says by 2025, I put here 2025 because in next year, you have the cloud skills will be tripled. The jobs will be tripled by next year immediately. So what are you waiting for? Jump onto this AWS course. Online, can you please confirm? Can you see my screen? Okay, some people are here informing that they are not able to see the screen. Okay, so I can see yes, right? Screen visible? Okay. The cloud page on the screen. Okay, you should be in a very good network. If you are using your 1.5 GBs over, then yeah. Now okay? All right, good. Okay, fine. Thank you for the very nice interactive session. Okay, so now, okay, we have talked about what this cloud, and you might have heard about nowadays, not in nowadays, you have a word called DevOps. So what is this DevOps? And what is this relation between this DevOps and AWS? This is very, very, very important to know, right? For example, what is DevOps? In a nutshell, because I don't have here much enough time to talk complete about this DevOps. So for now, I'm just putting a little bit info in your mind that DevOps meaning it's a combination of development plus operations. So in this DevOps, you have this cycle. And here I put it in the shortcut PCB TR DOM, right? I like to be fun a little bit sometimes, right? What is this PCB TR DOM? So many people remember or by heart the phases of this DevOps, because in the interview, they will be asking about, can you please explain DevOps life cycle or phases? Many people, freshers, especially freshers, they will be just little bit struggling to explain about or to remember this life cycle or these phases. And for you, I'm just giving you a small tip that you can remember PCB TR DOM. What is meaning PCBTR DOM? So that looks very funny by pronouncing it, but this works a lot. Do you see this? P represents planning, C for code, B for build, T for test, R for release, D for deploy, O for operate, M for monitor. And if you're interested, please repeat with me. P for plan, C code, B build, T test, R release, D deploy, O operate, M monitor. So you need to first plan. Whatever based on the requirement, you need to code. Whatever you have done the code, you need to build. And then whatever the build has done, so testers will be testing it. And then whatever they have tested, they need to release that. After releasing the viable product, you need to go and deploy that. And once you deploy, you need to operate the entire infrastructure. And then whatever you have deployed, the entire infrastructure should get monitored. This is DevOps, what the DevOps people will do in a 1 minute, what is DevOps. So DevOps is a set of practices, tools, and is a culture that automate and integrate the process between software development and IT teams. So I'll not be talking more about DevOps because this, as I said, let's move on. So many people have this question, very, very common question that people ask me a lot. Sir, in market, we heard about DevOps with AWS. Sir, then you are talking about what is this AWS with DevOps? Both are same or different? Let me ask you, what is your answer? Is it same or different? Based on that, I want to change your mindset. Put it in the chat, everyone. Both are same or both are not same? I want to see the perception, right? Yeah. Okay, so I see the messages here, 50-50%. So many people says both are different and some people say both are same. Let me enlighten you that what is this exactly between these two, right? We know what is AWS, right? AWS provides the entire infrastructure for you. And what this, then let us try to attach this DevOps to AWS. What will the DevOps, AWS with DevOps meaning? DevOps is a wonderful, guys, DevOps is not a technology, it's a methodology. So previously we have something called waterfall model, agile, and then we have now currently DevOps in layman language. It's a methodology, it's a process. And then why we are attaching here AWS with this DevOps? In AWS, we'll set up this entire infrastructure. And to automate that infrastructure or to maintain that infrastructure, we need DevOps. So AWS is also good, not is also, it's a very good. But if you attach DevOps to it, it will be fantastic. So assume that I want to set up 100 servers. Is it good that I need to go and set up 100 servers manually? No. Go and automate it. And then how do we deploy the applications? I have so many servers running over there. And every 100 servers, each server has their own application. And how do you deploy, how do you update or deploy these applications? Can you do it manually? No. Use DevOps. So for that reason, this AWS and AWS DevOps engineer, the market is expected to grow 25% for next 5 years. So the surveys will be doing every 5 years. No surveys will be for next 10 years. Remember that, because who knows what will happen, right? So then the time period will be always 5 years. So for next 2028, the market is expected to grow like anything who has the skills of AWS and DevOps. So let me tell you the difference between AWS with DevOps and DevOps with AWS. AWS with DevOps says, guys, in AWS with DevOps, you'll be learning maximum of AWS. Maximum of AWS. You are not sufficient to learn only few core services. No. Because The entire future is cloud. In AWS, you have lot of compute services, lot of automation services, lot of migration services, lot of AI services, lot of ML services. There are so many backup services, storage services. I cannot keep on listing here now, because you have to learn all these cloud perfectly. Once you learn this AWS completely, then you can implement this CI/CD using this DevOps, right? And coming to what is DevOps with AWS, in this DevOps, mainly we'll be focusing more onto the DevOps tools like Jenkins, Git. Have you heard about all these things online, everyone? Jenkins, Git, Ansible, Terraform, Docker, Kubernetes, right? So all these are the external tools the companies are using in the market. So using these tools, AWS infrastructure will be managed. You understand? But AWS is must. In this DevOps with AWS, where is AWS? AWS will be only few services there. The few services will be discussing there. Whereas AWS with DevOps contain a lot of AWS, whereas DevOps with AWS contain little bit less AWS services. I would say both are really important. You should know end-to-end about the AWS and also end-to-end about the DevOps. And why I'll here focus more on DevOps, AWS with DevOps is, let me tell you, most of the people doesn't know this. If you know, it's really good. See here. See here. You have the DevOps tools in the market. Can you please put what are the DevOps tools that you know in the chat quickly? Go ahead. Because I like to be very interactive, as you know. Many people says Git, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, Maven, right? Prometheus, Grafana, Terraform, Ansible. Good. Argo CD, right. So, Nagios, very good. You have very good knowledge. Nice. Nice. See here now. So, you know all these tools. Fantastic. I will really appreciate it. I really appreciate it because you have learned or you know these tools. But do you also know that these tools can be replaced in AWS? Say yes or no. Do you know? These tools can be replaced in AWS. How? Let's say, for example, you are using GitHub. Do you see source code management? GitHub. And you are using Bitbucket. So these two are the major most source code management that we use in the real time. But if you go with AWS, in AWS, there is a service called Code Commit. So Code Commit is a service which is used for the source code management. And of course, this code commit is getting deprecated, so you can ignore that. And this AWS is very well integrated with GitHub. Not only GitHub, with Bitbucket. In this project, I'll be using GitHub integrated in AWS. For continuous integration and continuous delivery, if you don't know what is CI/CD, just for now, ignore that, right? You know Maven, Gradle, and these are for build purpose. And the similar thing that we have in AWS is code build. So code build can replace all these external tools. So as you have your entire infrastructure in AWS, why to get from outside third-party tools and integrate in AWS? Why can't you use only code build to build your entire project? Yes? And Jenkins is very fantastic integration tool, right? So here we have something called code deploy, which help you to deploy. And Jenkins pipeline, you will be writing a lot of nice pipelines. What is a pipeline? Series of steps. But here in AWS, we have something called code pipeline. Nexus is one of the Artifactory tool where you can store all your Artifactories. Here you have something called AWS S3 where you can store it. For infrastructure as a code, you have a Terraform. It's a beautiful, beautiful tool. In AWS, you have something called CloudFormation. You can automate your AWS infrastructure using CloudFormation. Of course, Terraform is cloud agnostic. So that meaning this Terraform will work for multiple cloud providers. Coming to container orchestration, very famous tool that we have here is Kubernetes and Docker Swarm. So you have Kubernetes and Docker Swarm. That's really, really good. You might know this, but you should also know that AWS has something called EKS, which is replaced with Kubernetes. In Kubernetes, in DevOps, you will be installing Kubernetes. You will be setting up all the pods, nodes, and everything. In Docker, you need to install Docker engine, and you need to create images and store it somewhere. But whereas here, you have EKS, which is called Elastic Kubernetes Service, or ECS, Elastic Container Service, and the serverless, which is called Fargate, which is to handle all your containers serverless completely. Serverless. So here you need to maintain the servers, nodes, everything. Whereas in AWS, it is serverless. So today projects will be based on the serverless completely. You might know how to set up Docker engine, Kubernetes, all these things. But today in this project, I'll be showing you, right, what is this ECS, how do you set up the task services inside it using serverless infrastructure called Fargate. For monitoring and login, you have Prometheus and Grafana, Splunk, Datadog, and then Nagios. There are so many tools available. But whereas here in AWS, you have something called CloudWatch, CloudTrail, which will help you to monitor your entire infrastructure. Coming to configuration management automation, we have something called Ansible, you know. In AWS, we have something called Systems Manager, where you can connect to all the machines in the AWS, and then you can run whatever you want. See, using System Manager, you can run Ansible playbooks also. Using System Manager, you can run shell scripts also. Using Systems Manager, you can run whatever you want remotely. What Ansible is doing, similarly, Systems Manager is also doing the same. But Systems Manager has a lot of flexibility. System Manager will not work only for Ansible. System Manager will work for Chef, right? And it works for all of your multiple things. And you have OpsWorks, which will help you for Chef and Puppet. So Ansible it's a configuration management tool. Example, if you want to install a software on 100 servers, what will you do, Swapna? Example. So you will be doing manually, or you need to change some files, or you need to do some modifications. So using this, Ansible will do it, but that is replaced here with Systems Manager. Coming to the last one here for security and compliance, you have HashiCorp Vault, which is helpful for the security and compliance. But here in AWS, we have something called IAM, Secret Manager, and Config for security, even more. So that is the very quick comparison between DevOps tools and AWS DevOps services. I have a habit of asking you, CC. Many of my students know already. Is it clear till here? If it is clear, please put CC. CC, cluster clear. And please keep in mind, so as this is a workshop, I have touched the brief, right? I have touched the brief. So do not expect to after this workshop, you should not be new to any of these words. Perfect. Now, let's move on to this very important, which is quickly I'll tell you about server-based versus serverless. Server-based meaning where you need to maintain or manage the virtual servers or physical servers by yourself. Whereas serverless meaning without any single server, you can set up your entire application. Server-based architecture is good. It's a very traditional approach that you have the servers, you have the load balance on top of it, etc., etc. But in serverless meaning, you don't have any servers, but still your application will be working. So serverless architecture is based on event-driven execution. We will see that. This is a sample server-based architecture. You can see this architecture and say these things. Of course, it's very natural and common that you don't understand. Okay, so someone is saying audio is not clear. Let me recheck. Is it clear, please? Am I audible? Am I audible? Okay. Now it's okay? Thank you. All right. Okay. So to go further on the project, you should know what is the difference between monolithic and microservice. I hope it is clear now, right? Yeah. Okay. So monolithic and then microservices. So I don't spend much time here because we need to go and do the project, as I said. Do you see this monolithic meaning everything in single place? Let me give a small example. I always example for students. In your house, all your gold, cash, everything in one place. If any thieves come, everything is gone or not? It's breaking. Okay. Yeah. Am I audible? Am I audible? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you. So I think, yeah, good. That appeared. Okay, so thank you. Please bear with me. So because it's network. Thank you for your patience. And then if I'm not audible, just ping me once so that I'll stop and then I'll ask. Okay. Again, breaking. Yeah. Okay. So the disturbance. Yeah, just a second. Am I audible? Cool. Thank you. All right. So let's move on. So here we have monolithic architecture, and then that meaning all your entire application is packed up and then connected to one database. So just in case, if something happened to user interface, your business layer will not work. If something happened to data interface, your business layer or user interface will not work. So everything is completely tightly packed, which is very, very, very dangerous. Because if somewhere something happened, or everything will be collapsed. That is monolithic. And coming to microservice architecture meaning you are just separating the services. UI will be a separate microservice. And business layer is completely different. And you can just different. Let's say example. If you take a bank, If you take a bank, you have internet banking, mobile banking, insurances, loans, etc., etc. If you take a phone pay also, in phone pay, if you log in, right, you see so many things. Right? Imagine if phone pay is monolithic. If something happened to, let's say, charge section, your entire phone pay will be down. So instead of that, now PhonePe is using PhonePe is using recharge as a separate service. Tickets is a separate service, right? And something else is a separate service. Here also in the banks also, internet bank is a separate service, and mobile bank is separate service. So this is called and they have their own. All right. So now, okay, let's do one thing. It's breaking, right? So, all right. So what we do is, did you all understood the basic thing about this before I show you the project architecture? Okay. All right. So what I'll be doing is here, I'll just crisply, as many people have the internet issue, what I do is, I'll just quickly show you the architecture today, and tomorrow we will connect back at the same time. What do you think with the proper network? Yeah, super. So let's now concentrate on the architecture first. So in this, building a serverless DevOps CI/CD pipeline on AWS with ECR, Fargate and Code Pipeline. So these are the tech stack. I will be integrating 11 services integrations. How many services? Put it in the chat, everyone. 11 services. 11 services will be integrated in the project. It's superb, yes or no? And all these 11 services are super important. Super important. And these 11 services will be must in the real time if you take any project. So what I'll be doing is, I'll be integrating these 11 services, and congratulations, this will be project picture. This one I will be setting up in tomorrow's class. Okay, so you can see the architecture here. What is this? But the thing is, very good thing is, if we connect back tomorrow, I'll be little bit more focusing more on the project. Today, I just give the overview of what is this before cloud, what is AWS, what is DevOps with AWS, and everything, right? So, all right, sure. I'll be concluding this session for today. And this project will be implemented in tomorrow. This project will be implemented in tomorrow's session. And tomorrow we have the same time at 10 o'clock. I'll be connecting it back, right? And then, yeah, meanwhile, do you have any questions? So tomorrow will be the complete hands-on. So tomorrow will be the complete hands-on, the project, right? And then please don't forget to connect tomorrow. So tomorrow sharp 10 a.m. we'll be doing the project. The will be a super interesting project. So that, okay, so tomorrow will be the same link. Link will be the same. Link will be the same. You just to connect it tomorrow at the same time. Be focusing on it. So that is all, guys, for today. And I'll be seeing tomorrow at 10 a.m. project. Hands on a lot of interactiveness. So for him, and this is your Reyaz. And also, if you are interested on Monday, right? So I have this. If you're interested, please connect with Naresh IT, and then you can join my AWS course. AWS with it. Okay. So please get in touch with IT, or else tomorrow I'll be sharing about AWS course about when. So please don't forget to join tomorrow's class for the project. Thank you for joining, and thank you for the wonderful clock. Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.